Yo, still Bills, what's the deal, man? Peep game though, man. I'm about to hit you with my first edition of Flashback Fridays, man. I should have did this with the Tarver and Roy Jones breakdown, man. I should have did it then. I should have just saved that, but I didn't think of the idea until afterwards, man. So I'm gonna just start doing this every Friday. I speak on a fight where I break down and analyze the fight, a controversial decision from my personal analysis and my personal opinion. So for this edition, we're gonna do Juan Manuel Marquez versus Manny Pacquiao, the third one, not the first one, the third one. That was a dope fight, very entertaining fight. It was really competitive, man. Like a classic, you know. Them two always put on a show for us, man. They always looked out on the entertainment value and really put on for the fans, really put on for the crowd. But I wasn't mad at the decision, man. I could have went with a draw. But I'm not mad at Manny Pacquiao winning either, though. I wasn't mad at Manny Pacquiao getting that decision, man. I think it was the right choice. Early on in the fight, man, Juan Manuel Marquez was kind of having trouble with Manny Pacquiao's footwork. His fleet-footedness, man. He was able to get in. He was just really offsetting him, man. And it wasn't like Manny was doing a whole lot. It was just the foot feints and the getting in and out and getting to the side of him and everything that was really hindering him from going to work like he wanted to. Early on. I'm talking the first 3 to 4 rounds, man. But Juan Manuel Marquez started finding his rhythm, man. He started one particular shot that he had success with was the left hook to the body, followed up by the left uppercut right up the middle, man. That popped his head back up, throughout the whole fight. That particular combination right there, man, and he started really doing good work off of that. And he started, Juan isn't the fastest fighter. He has very underrated footwork, but he doesn't have foot speed. Manny has footwork and the speed to really offset you. Juan Manuel Marquez has footwork, really good fundamental footwork. He can pivot out with you. He can, put himself in position to get the shot off or whatever. Put himself in range. But it's not the footwork on the scale of Manny. Where Manny has the fast in and out movement, the angles and everything. That's not really Juan's game. Juan had the competent enough feet to spin out. He would spin out. When Manny would cut them angles on him, he would spin out and get at a distance to where he was out of range. That takes competent feet to be able to do. But he started finding it. He started finding his rhythm. He started landing pretty efficiently late in the mid rounds or whatever, man. Big shots too. Big shots, man. The right hand was there a lot, man. The right straight down the pipe was there, and the left uppercut, the left body, and the left hook to the body, left uppercut right up the middle was popping his head back a lot. Those were the two best punches that he was having, and it wasn't the prototypical Juan Manuel Marquez counter special. It wasn't, it wasn't necessarily that on display. It was. I don't even know how to describe that, that approach to counterpunching that he was doing, man. It wasn't the typical make them miss, make them pay. It wasn't. And I just think because they was in the ring with each other so much, they knew each other's habits and they knew each other's strengths. And because of that, they wasn't as quick on the trigger as they was early on. I mean, you got to think these cats Juan was 38, Manny was 32 when they fought. So this ain't, they ain't in their 20s no more. These ain't no spring chickens. I think this is closer to Manny's prime. This may even be Manny in his prime. But them being in there with one another, they know what each other is capable of. So it's like, man, I don't necessarily want to get hit by this motherfucker. And I think it was just the counter punching of Juan Manuel Marquez that always bothered Manny Pacquiao more so than the power. I think it was the counter punching. So he was real cognizant of that. And getting hit without, you know, missing and getting, you know, getting punished for it, that shit hurts. That hurts. So he was really cognizant of that. You can really see them. You dig? They'll find themselves, you know, when they're out, you know, when they whiff and they miss big, they're really like, oh shit, let me hurry up and get back on defense so I don't get clipped with them. Both of them were doing that in the fight. Both of them were doing that, man. But in the mid rounds, you really started to see Juan Manuel Marquez really find, you know, close the distance and land more efficiently. And it was just, it was it was just a really good back and forth fight, man. It was a few swing rounds that I had to go back and rewatch. I think the 9th, the 10th, and the 3rd. There was a lot of back and forth between the two. I think after when Manny got cut late in the fight, I think that's when you really start to see him pick up the pace. It's like, all right, bro. Like, at first he was like, damn, I'm cut. And you kind of see it, you know, he was a little bit gun shy, man. But I think he also knew that I might just be losing this fight. So he kind of picked up the tempo and took, you know, and kind of stepped on the gas. And I think he squeezed out the last 2 rounds, man. But nonetheless, the middle rounds were extremely entertaining. When they got in rhythm and they shook the jitterbugs of one another, and they was just like, all right, man, we just gonna have to go to war like we normally do. It made for a very entertaining fight, man. Really good fight. Really good fight, man. I loved it, man. We don't get rivalries like that anymore, man. We don't get those rivalries anymore. I seen somebody say something like, oh man, he was so dominant, why did he have so many so many rematches? It's like, yo, they're classic matches. Him and Eric Morales is a classic. Him and Timothy Bradley, those are classics. You know, him and Juan Manuel Marquez are classics. That's the goal. You want that rivalry. You want to be able to go multiple matches with your contemporary. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to do that, man. You want the Gotti Ward shit. You want the Ali Frazier. You want that. I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. You want Riddick, Bowe, Evander Holyfield. You want Estrada and Chocolatito. You want this. That is what you want. You want rivalry. That's what makes this like, yo, man, I think he won. It was a lot of controversy surrounding that decision with, you know, for Manny Pacquiao. And Manny was wild. Like, Manny, that fight, he looked a little bit more faster on his feet than any other fight, but he just didn't seem as sharper on the punches because he was, by this time, he knows how competent of a counterpuncher that Juan Manuel Marquez is. So he's like, ooh, do I want to get caught by that? I don't know. So that just made for a really entertaining fight, man. It was a really good fight. But I think I would go with Manny. I would edge Manny. I know in those rounds, Juan would be winning the round. He would be winning the round. He'd land big punches in the rounds, but he would just start getting outworked. He was landing the cleaner, effective punches, but it wasn't like the punches that he would be throwing with. How do you just? I gotta think of how to put that in the proper context, man. Because usually you want the cleaner, effective punches being, you know, that's who you're usually gonna score the rounds for. But with him landing those clean and effective punches, it never really backed Manny up. You didn't see Manny start backing up really until he got that cut, and that wasn't a cut due to a punch. You know, it was a clash of heads. That's when you kind of see him backing up and get a little bit apprehensive for a slight minute in the fight. But he would land the cleaner punches. If he landed 4 clean punches in the round, besides the second round. I think it was the second round where he just clearly just dominated. It was the second or the fifth. It was one of those rounds where he just clearly won that round. A lot of the other rounds he'd land 3 significant punches in the match. Not in the match, but in the round. And Manny would outwork him. The shots that Manny would land, it wouldn't be as cleanly landed as Juan landed, but it was a massive amount more than what Juan threw as well. and they were still landing. In the exchanges, he would catch Juan with some shit in the exchange. They would both catch each other in the exchanges. They would both catch each other. I just think he, especially towards the end of the fight, he started getting really complacent. Like, I know I got this shit in the bag. Like, I'm winning this fight. There's no way you can't tell me I'm not winning this fight. There's no way you can say that shit to me definitively that I'm not winning this fight. And you've seen it. And even Emmanuel Stewart was like, everybody's like, yo, you're entirely too conservative, bro. You're entirely too conservative. You know what? We know how judges are for the favorite. We know how crowds are for the favorite. We're a little bit more educated than the casual fan, but the judges have, they have a bias towards their fighter that they like as well. As do commentators, as do other boxers. That's just how it is, man. We like who we like. And at that particular time, Manny Pacquiao was the only person that was, deemed better than him was Floyd Mayweather. So of course I'm rooting for Manny Pacquiao. So you have to go to infinity and beyond. You have to win this fight. You have to win. You can't afford to be conservative just because you landed 4 solid shots in the round. If he's out working you, he's out hustling you, he's landing. They're not landing as effectively or as cleanly as yours is, but the fact of the matter is he's still landing. And the clean, effective shots that you landed, it wasn't like it thwarted him. It wasn't like it muted. Well, he did. It was spurts where Manny's offense would be, as they say, muted. He just completely suppressed his offense. It wasn't too much of that. It was in the middle rounds. It was, Manny was going a little. And I remember watching the 24/7. He was like, yo, man, I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it tonight. Like, I just felt like I was off. Nonetheless, that could be because of the counterpuncher that Juan Manuel Marquez was as an active fighter. But, I think, you can't do that. You have to stay active when you're fighting a superstar. You have to stay active. You have to win those rounds. You land, you go back and land some more. You land 4 solid shots, land 8 solid shots, double it up. You have to think about that, and that's what I think what was fucking him in the long run. As far as that fight goes, man, he just got a little complacent later on down the stretch, man. He just knew that I got the shit in the bag. And he went completely inactive in that 12th round. I was like, yo, bro. And I think Manny did enough to win the 11th. But it was a lot. I had to go back and watch about 3 or 4 rounds. And at one of them, I couldn't even score. Because I'm like, this is just, I can't decide who won this round. So that's why, I would edge Manny. But I wouldn't have been mad at a draw. I wouldn't have been mad at a draw at all. Matter of fact, I'd lean more towards a draw. It was that close. It was that close. That was a damn good fight, man. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling about it, man. I just think Juan Manuel Marquez got entirely complacent in them later rounds, and he ended up giving rounds away just because he was just, oh my God. Yo, man, my Nebraskan people know, man, this weird. I'm in the crossroads. I'm going to Target right now. I'm going into this Target off 72nd and Dodge, man, and I'm driving past the crossroads, one of our old malls that's, it got demolished, and they're building, like, I want to say some power and light type district shit from Kansas City here in Omaha. And it's just really weird just looking at this big ass just dirt field as they prepare to build that, or as they're building that. They've already prepared it. They've already tore everything down. But yeah, that was off subject, man. But nonetheless, I do think I'm kind of cool with a draw for that particular fight, man. I think they both did really good work. I think I gave Manny a solid 6 rounds. I I gave Manny a solid 6. And you could argue that Juan Manuel Marquez won that that swing round that I couldn't quite judge. I couldn't quite judge it, man. I couldn't quite give it a winner. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about it, man. I'm gonna be doing this more often. I think I got a few fights in mind starting off rip that I want to go back and I want to properly analyze and break down on Fridays. That's the new crack on the new stove right there, man. We gonna do that. I think that's kind of dope. A dope thing is do a dope idea. So I kind of want to run with that. I don't see nobody really doing it often. I don't see nobody. For the most part, these channels are about keeping up with the latest news that's going on, surrounding the sport. So I don't know, man. Just kind of switch some shit up and try and get the content creators that I'm trying to get on their level. I dig their content, man. So I'm gonna switch some shit up and see how it come out, man. Peace.